and more automation, and that obviously includes pipelines, and so about a year ago we had a resource that kind of started us on this journey, and we've built up some pipelines for our products. So before I get ahead of myself, I would guess we have about 4 or 5 different product lines that we maintain code bases for that support, and then within each product we probably have anywhere from 4 to 7 microcontrollers with their own separate code bases. So a lot of code that's very similar, but also has differences and uniqueness to them. And so we, at this point in time, we have all these code bases have pipelines associated with them, but there are still areas where we're trying to improve the automation. We're trying to add in automated tests, add in more reporting, and so that's what we're looking for, this role to provide for us. So, I'll pass it over to Chad. I'm sure I'm missing quite a bit here, but that's kind of the high level of it.
So one of the common differences that we have is that we're not doing any cloud development. We're not building websites or web architecture. So, like Nate said, everything that we're building for is either going to be things that are running on our appliances or our software tools that help us to do that job. So we have tools that we make for transferring software to the appliances, and so those are some of our other pipelines. Nate and I are kind of mirrors of each other for working on different parts of our different product families. So we have very similar roles, and a lot of your contact is going to be with the two of us, but there definitely are going to be times where we would have you speaking with some of our software engineers that may need assistance or are giving you direction on some of the changes and things that we're asking. So we do have, again, like Nate said, somewhere around 30 or 40 active pipelines, I think, because of all the targets. And so we do have a variety of different generations of those scripts and pipelines from the prior DevOps engineer. One of the things that we would like to see as kind of a maintenance item is to make those more consistent, maybe more of a template style that we can make it easier to maintain all these, because the build processes are very similar, just with pointing to different parts of the software or different targets. So there is a lot of repetitive steps that we can take advantage of. So we are using Azure DevOps for the majority of the things that you would be involved with. So we're using that for the pipelines. We're running Azure local build agents on Windows computers here in our office. We are not using cloud build agents, so everything is running locally here. And we're using Git repos hosted by Azure DevOps. We're doing our Kanban workboard in Azure DevOps, so everything is pretty much centralized there. If you would like to just give us an overview of your experiences.
Experience as a DevOps engineer, and majorly I have been taking care of creation of the CI/CD pipeline. I have created the CI/CD pipeline from the scratch using the Jenkins pipeline, and whenever the developers would commit the code into the Git repository, that we have used the GitHub as the I have an extensive experience in GitHub. So similar to Azure Git repo, whenever the developer would commit the code into the Git repository, it would trigger the Jenkins job, and it would pull the source code from the GitHub repo. And then after that we have since we have the pipeline. So the pipeline has stages. In the stages, the pipeline would compile the source code, and after compiling it would run respective test cases, and then we have a separate deployment pipeline which would deploy to the we were deploying it to the sometimes some like Tomcat server, or we were mostly using the Kubernetes for our deployments, and we have used the rolling update strategy in case of Kubernetes deployments. And also I take care of writing the shell scripts to automate the manual and repetitive tasks. And I have taken, we had 3 different environments, the development environment and QA and the production environments. I have taken care of deployments to all these 3 environments. And we had frequent releases. So during the releases at that time, we used to create the branches and then the merge respective branches. And major cloud platform, I have worked on Azure a bit, but maximum I have worked on the AWS as the major cloud platform, and I have worked on services like VPC, EC2, S3, EBS, and Route 53 IAM roles, and ELB and auto scaling. I have worked on also Docker as well. I have written Docker image, Docker files to reduce the image size as well using the Docker multi-stage. And then I have, as I have told you, in the Kubernetes, I have experience for deployments using the rolling update strategy we have used in the Kubernetes. And I have worked on infrastructure provisioning tools like IAC. I have used Terraform. And for the provisioning, I have used the Terraform, and for configuration management, we have used the Ansible. I am aware of the Ansible playbook and as well as a fair understanding of Ansible roles. And off late, I have been working on Azure DevOps as well. Yes, that's what is about my experience and the technologies I have been working on. And day-to-day activity, I take care of monitoring the I and my team take care of monitoring the CI/CD pipeline, and in case we have to update some versions of any tools that we take care of, and in case of nodes of Kubernetes, if we have to update any node, we cordon the nodes and then do the patching, and then uncordon the node so that the application is up and running, and ensure that the systems are safe and secure against cyber security threats. We provision the in the subnets or in the security groups, we make sure that only the applications particular port numbers are only open, so that the entry of the other websites of the traffic is restricted. And we interaction with the other teams also. We in our current when project, we have been using, the client was using the Flow as a tool, and we were using this Flow tool for our project management. Pretty much I have explained about my project as well as my experience in the tools.
So one of the main languages I think that you're going to be using is YAML, just for the scripting. Can you kind of explain your experience with that language?
Yes, with the YAML language, I have written the Kubernetes services and deployments using the YAML script, and also I have experience in writing the Ansible playbooks to configure the servers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And similarly, with Python, we don't have a ton of Python, but we do have it in bits and pieces. Do you have any experience with Python?
Much of the experience I have in shell script, but given an opportunity to learn and work on Python, I'll be very much happy to do that. I'm looking forward to that also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. And then I guess the only other thing that I've kind of got is just, I think a lot of what what this role is going to need to be is probably reaching out and working with our team of developers, as I think Chad mentioned, we've got about 10 developers on our team that are kind of spread out across the various supporting the various projects that we've got. And so, I guess with that, can you just kind of tell me about how you've worked with that type of environment in the past, and like how are you able to reach out and get what you need when maybe it's not super clear who has the information, and just what's your process for kind of going about finding the information that you need?
Like can you please come again? What exactly I did not understand.
Yeah, sorry. So
yeah.
We're just trying to, I'm just trying to understand, like, what's your process for, so, like, let's see, as an example, if you're trying to, understand how we're trying to version one of our software pipelines, and you need to reach out to the team to understand what the scheme is for creating a version. Like, what would be your process for going about doing that?
Interaction with the other teams, like coordination, the collaboration is the key for successful and teamwork. And we actually I'm sorry, Nate, I'm not exactly are you asking me about anything in particular, or in how we reach out? See, for example, if we have any issues, it is a development issue, then we raise a ticket to the developer saying that these are the issues, and then we coordinate with them, and then go to resolve those issues. This is what I can make out from the figure out what you're asking about. If I'm wrong, can you please put it in some other way so that I can understand and give the answer?
Yeah, no, I think you're understanding what I'm saying. I'm just trying to understand what's your comfort level with reaching out and asking for help if you need it, and we have a somewhat bigger team where it's not always the easiest to try to understand who's got the information you're looking for.
Yeah.
And so just, have you had that experience before? Are you familiar with that environment, and are you comfortable doing that?
Yes. Frequently, as I've told you, I have been working on Git as the major, the source code repository, and the developers were they were I have been facing the issues of merge conflict, and at that time I had to interact with the developers and ask them for a change, what do you if the merge conflict obviously it occurs whenever there is when two developers are working on the same line of the code. So I used to contact these developers and ask them what change they would suggest, so that the code would be resolved, the merge conflict would be resolved, and then I used to implement those changes and then resolve this merge conflict. So in that cases, I used to communicate with the developers and then do that. I have been coming across these issues, and then I have been resolving them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been responsible for generating documentation in your past roles?
Yes. Once we have been using Confluence tool for generating the documents. So in case of we update any configuration, in case we update some servers, for example, there was a build pipeline which was failing due to there was a change in the version of the code, which was say for example the Java was not updated, and the build was not getting completed. So in that case, I have resolved that error and documented it, saying that I have updated the version of the Java, and then I was successfully able to build it. So using the Confluence tool, we were doing this documentation.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Chad, do you have any other questions?
Sorry, I had to finish writing a note. Yes. So, yeah, in some of your experiences, I see you've worked with integrating unit tests and code quality metrics. Yeah, that is something that we are definitely interested in expanding for some of our pipelines. We do have unit tests related to some of our application software. And so I guess I'd like to understand what things that you've implemented in those areas.
Like as I've told you, like I have majorly used the Jenkins, and in the Jenkins we have a plugin called a SonarQube plugin for the static code analysis. Like in the static code analysis, we all often see the vulnerabilities, the code smells, or the bugs, and we also see the code coverage, and we had this metric of 80%, like code coverage had to be 80%, and if the threshold was not like 80%, we used to communicate to the developers to improve their source code, so that the and then build it again to check whether the source code is code coverage is met that threshold. So this was we were doing, we were integrating the SonarQube plugin, and we had set up the SonarQube in a server. Sometimes we had SonarQube server set up, and in some cases we were running the SonarQube using a container Docker run. We were pulling this image, and then Docker run, and then at the 9000 SonarQube and the LTS community, this was the command that Docker run -d and sonar, and then we were exposing the 9000 port and the image was SonarQube LTS community some LTS community. We were running this container at the 9000 port, and we were configuring the same thing in the Jenkins security credentials as well, and the tools as well, so that the Jenkins would communicate to the SonarQube whenever the build would happen, and then the SonarQube would generate this report, the code analysis report, and then using those metrics we used to update the developers regarding the code, and we were doing, and also we were doing tree image scan and the OASP dependency check, and this dependency check, and we were doing this for the security purpose, they are free from the vulnerabilities. This is what I have an answer for that.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for example, with the code coverage, if they fell below the 80% target, did that cause the pipeline to fail, or was that accepted but something you asked the developers to fix and push more changes to?
No, we had written a script so that whenever the code coverage is not 80%, then the build would not go to the next stage. So the build would go to the next stage only if the code coverage was more than or less greater than or equal to the 80%. We had written the script, and then we had done stage. We had included a stage in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then with release management, we do have, like I said, many pipelines, and for any one appliance, like one of our own products, has 7 different targets, plus software tools, plus other build steps to convert some of the files. There's a longer process to be able to take all the artifacts from the pipelines and package them for something we can hand off to our production lines. So can you talk about how you've done packaging for releases, or pulling things from multiple pipelines into a release pipeline or a release package?
Coming to the Azure DevOps side, I can explain more on the DevOps side. Coming to the Azure DevOps, we can use the service connection say for example, we are building an image and and then we are pushing it to the Azure container, and then to the AKS cluster. We are pushing the image to the AKS cluster, or deploying the artifacts to the AKS cluster. Basically, what the pipeline will be having, it will be having a build stage, and then the test stage, and then a deploy stage in case of this Jenkins we had. And in case of Azure DevOps, it is the same case. Like we have the pipelines. These pipelines would build the image, and then this image, we had created a service connection to the Docker or the Azure Container Registry, any third party, it may be Docker or the Azure Container Registry. We used to create a service connection, and then any artifacts generated in the pipeline would be pushed into this the Azure Container Registry, and from there, we were doing the into the Kubernetes AKS cluster, that is Azure Container Kubernetes service. We were creating a service connection for that also, and then we were pushing the artifacts to the Azure Container Registry also. I hope this is what the procedure we were doing for release pipeline.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. All right. Do you have questions for us around our products or our development or anything?
Yes, Chad. What are the tools basically? I have experience on these tools. Will I be able to get to work on these tools, or any other new tool I have to learn and do it?
Yeah, so we do have, our build agent computers have all the software tools like Visual Studio. Our developers are using VS Code for most of their day-to-day work. We're using some build tools like CMake that are actually setting up and running actual software compilation in most of our repos. We're using a lot of off-the-shelf or open source software in a lot of cases. We do have some licensed software like IAR that we have loaded on our build agents. In the cases where you would need to use a tool like that, then you'd be able to log into the agent computers and access those things. You would be able to actually do a lot locally on a computer by yourself if you had the repos downloaded and we're trying to build the software. A lot of that we can do. We're getting more and more towards GCC, and available compilers like that. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, sir. Just another question. I would also like to know about the environment or the culture of the company, so that just casual ask question. Hello.
Yeah. We have a very strong team culture. So being able to work together is a very important part for us for how we hire permanent, full-time engineers. That's been a vision of our director that has given us good success with the way that we work together. We have a high desire for quality. Sub-Zero products are luxury products, and so customers want to be able to get the quality that they're paying for. And in the for us developing the software, we want to have strong, robust software that's going to be operating as perfect as possible. I think getting things like the unit tests in place and some of the automation and reliable build processes and things are going to help us to build better quality products. Quality is definitely a high focus. We'd rather build it right than build faster with poorer quality, I guess. Those are a couple of our driving principles that that impact the way that we work.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Chad.
Yeah, I think Chad summarized it well. It's a privately owned company and owned by a family, and so it I think that really permeates through the company, and so people are very, very quick to help. So if, I think we always try to stress that with newer people coming on board is, I think a lot of times we feel like we don't want to ask too many questions or be too bothersome, and that we always want to be able to help each other and make sure that we've got what we need. So I've always really appreciated that about working for this company, and I think people are always a little bit surprised at how much openness and willingness to help that there is.
Yeah. Thanks, Nate. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great talking to you both. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the time.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Kind of the following, we'll talk, Chad and I will talk, and then you'll probably be hearing back from us soon about, next steps and that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. I'll be looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right.
That's nice to meet you.
Kieran.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Chad.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.